am addicted to using delays. All different kinds of delays. Kind of fancy delays, simple delays, all kinds. Love them all. I like to darken them. I like to modulate them. I like them to disappear under my guitar. That's the key. I hide the delay with the guitar part. I never like to hear trails, never the beer, 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 beer. It's basically something to make the guitar float. Here's a piece of music where I use the digital realm and the pedal realm for different parts. Click the link below if you want to check out the online masterclass. There's an expanded version of this video with some tabs that we just added. And also there's a 14-day free trial so you can check it out and see if it's right for you. Let's talk first about the delay that I'm using right now for this piece of music. It's in Pro Tools. It's in the DAW. It's called Echo Boy, Soundtoys Echo Boy. It's a favorite, long-standing favorite of those of us who record all the time. It is panned hard left and right. There's modulation. It's darkened. It's basically sounding like a memory band pedal, but you can time it to the track easily. You can adjust it. It's great. And the great thing is you can dry it up if you want. Now, crucial to this idea of being able to have it wet or dry and being able to change it, we are in the digital realm. We are in Pro Tools. We are in a DAW, the recording realm, before it's sent off to be mixed and done. That means you can change it up to that point because it's a plug-in. And that's great. So if it's dry, let me just bypass this guy. We'll try it dry. Okay, then turn it on and I'll make it a little bit wet. When I deliver solos to people, I like it to be a plug-in. That way they can dry it up. Just because I'm addicted to the delays, maybe they want it to be dry. So I like them to have the flexibility, particularly with solos. Now, the other thing about Echo Boy and these stereo delays is it's really fun to get this eighth dotted eighth thing. And if you mute, then it becomes this kind of rhythmic thing. And if you don't mute, it just becomes kind of this float. Check out how this chord sounds with the delay. It widens it. And a great thing about doing stereo right and left delays is the center seems to still stay very healthy and in your face. The delays kind of rub around the sides and you get this kind of well, it's a 180, I suppose. You get this width that's really great. Now, dry is always good too. I'm going to dry it up. Nothing wrong with that. But for like a sustained chord, it's great. That's one of the reasons I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love dry too. I go to dry all the time, back and forth, dry, wet, dry, wet. That's how you keep things fresh and interesting. But this is why I'm addicted to it. Main point here is that I hide it. My goal when I use delays is to not have you hear them, not even know they're there. Either the part I'm playing is captivating enough or I'm hiding it two ways. There are two main ways that I hide it. One is simply by playing along with a drummer, because any of these trails, when the drums happen, they just kind of disappear. Bass, everything. If it's a fatter mix, if you're playing with an ensemble in a band, these delays just disappear. And they can be really heavy, where you solo your guitar and you're shocked at how much delay you have on, but they all disappear in the track. That's one way. The next way is the way you exit phrases is crucial. Now, if I'm doing that and there's a drummer slamming away, you don't hear those trails. It's fine. But I still will end a lot of phrases. So you can't tell where the note is dying off and the delay is dying with it. It all is just kind of one thing. Very important, I think. That's how I do it. Now let's move to a pedal, and we're going to talk about the two properties that are most important in a delay to me. Those are being able to darken it and also to be able to use modulation, just the right amount of modulation. Now, whether it's in Pro Tools and super fancy and super wide or from a pedal, the same thing applies. I need to darken it so that it doesn't compete with the original signal. And that's ultra important. If it were the same tone with the same top end, it would be fighting it and clashing. Has to be darker. Also, the modulation has to be musical. It's just a widening effect at this point. Even sounds like vibrato to me. It sounds very musical. That's kind of an overused word, but you'll find with gear, some things you just turn them on. You don't even really have to turn the knobs. They sound musical. You don't have to negotiate with the knobs to get a good sound out of them. And this pedal is like this. I recommend it. Don't know how available they are at this point, but it's really great. And the infinite delay on this is great too, because a lot of times I'll use a volume pedal and my sustainer guitar, which is over there, and I'll get infinite delays. Hated for that to end. You can just sit here for an hour listening to that. Here's my Fernandez sustainer. It has infinite sustain because there is a magnetic thing that happens that goes like this. There's a battery and it happens under the bridge and the pickup. I don't know how it works, but it's a really great tool. You can do so much with this. I encourage you to find a sustainer guitar. It doesn't have to be an expensive guitar. It just has to have a system like this so you can get infinite sustain. Let me demonstrate. I have Echo Boy on in Pro Tools again, the beautiful side-to-side thing because it's going to sound cool, I think. Has an octave switch, so you can go up the octave. Very, very cool. You can do beautiful stuff with this. Now, let me dry it up, turning off the delay in Pro Tools, so we've got, right? Now I'm going to turn on the backtalk. This is what I used for the performance for this part. Here, let me demonstrate. Now, while this does not have modulation nor a darkening effect, it's not too bright. So they made it so it's not too bright. So it's musical sounding. And because it's a reverse delay, it reverses everything. It does a weird random thing in the background. Let me demonstrate. Turning up the repeats. So it's very easy to get a random quality out of this. And as such, you can take it too far, which I think I just did. Let me try something else. Here we go. You get this thick layer of ooze underneath what you're playing that's very satisfying. Also, because this doesn't have modulation, I make modulation from the wang bar. Floyd Roses are always good. I recommend them. They do change the tone of a guitar, but they're just so great to use. I mean, sometimes I really crave a narcotic quality to what I'm doing, and this provides that. So here I am living in this perfect world where it's my own stereo system and I get the delays out of my computer and they're amazing because it's Sound Toys, Echo Boy, and it sounds like two memory men perfectly timed to the tempo. I realize that it's a different story live. You may want to get this out of 2 amps, but that is doable. If you have 2 amps that are sort of matched, even in just volume, and you have a gain pedal, really natural gain pedal, and you get your distortion that way, you're set up for kind of a similar sound out of both amps. All you got to do is get something like this. Well, easier said than done. This is an expensive pedal, but this is the best way I've found to get great stereo side-to-side pan delays where they're hard to each side, and you get this wraparound kind of thing from it. Something about this pedal, the guitar sound going through it is really hi-fi. In this particular case, the hi-fi is good. You can buy analog pedals, dark-sounding pedals forever. Those are great. But occasionally, it's good to have your guitar going through something that actually makes it sound a little better. And that's the case with this. The other thing about these delays, When they hit distortion, they sound musical. I don't know how they do it. The delay blends with the distortion in a pleasing way. I've noticed it over and over and over. I'm sure there are other pedals that do this. Just go on the hunt. I immediately said to myself, I have to put my money where my mouth is, go to the pedal closet, see if I can find you guys an alternative. I immediately found this. Does it all. It's got filter, grit, speed, and depth, so it darkens and modulates in a really cool way. It's got the tempo. I can either dial it up or tap it. What I just did is I put it in mono right in front of the amp, and it sounds really strong. There's a really great blend in distortion and overdrive and gain between the original signal and the delay, which is what I've been talking about. Back it down a little bit. This one's really good too. But for me, man, this is one of the greatest pedals ever made, let alone the other things that it does. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. If you are a subscriber, please ring the bell. It lets us let you know every time a new video is released. You can also support us by clicking the link below for the online masterclass. As I always say, we're up to over 100 hours of lessons and content, over 1,000 videos. There's a 14-day free trial. Take your time, take a long look. We'd love to have you join us.